Furia, G2, and Wildcard.
Yeah, neither team is a very big fan of the map, but they also don't insta-ban it either. If we get to that map, I have no expectations for what might occur. I think if we get to that point, Complexity are probably boomed mentally, and Nouns are probably kind of just riding by the edge of their seat. So from that point, all expectations would be upended. But with that said, we do have the first map upon us. It is Ancient. It is the pick of Nouns, and we'll have to see if they have anything up their sleeves heading into the first pistol round.
Well, they're on the CT side, so some headshots would go a long way to bolstering their start here against Complexity, heavy favorites. Shots not connecting. Either team, there we go, Elige to kick it off for Complexity. One of the best pistol players in the world as of right now. Good flash in the middle, though. Grim backs up his teammate. His also former teammate on the CJ forced back into main. He gets caught. It's all up to Marky now. In a 1v4 as the bomb goes down. No real chance for Nouns to get anything out of this one. Just a couple of extra kills perhaps for Marky. Get some confidence, but he's dinked and destroyed by JT. Solid pistol round from Complexity.
Solid start. Might have been even required for Complexity. Again, need to start things off strong, put that prior series out of their minds, and go from there.
They're forcing. Nouns prone to the aggressive buys. And they do have some good Deagle players. Marky, B, Wills, Carson in particular. Cynic on the scout looking for some tags. Nade going out could do some serious damage. Not as much as expected onto Carson, but still a little bit of chip damage to help out down the line. Utility flying in though. And what looks to be an A or a B rather play from Complexity, gathering up and ready to burst into the site. Smoke's going down, counter utility out, flashes in, and a very passive hold from the CT side.
Passive hold, but it's also a respectful play from Complexity. They don't want to give anything away too early or for free. Good spam here and there. Chips away at Carson, but we're at the minute mark and everybody's still standing within the server. Cynic, he's over for Donut, the only player even remotely close towards A. Meanwhile, inroads are being made over towards B. Halls are the first one to find a kill in the round towards B. Wills. Elige second on a Cynic. CJ, though, offering some resistance now on the B site, and that is enough for Complexity to pull rotation. Down to the player over towards A. They can now head through Donut. And in the meanwhile, Halzerk will cut off rotations. He drops both Marky and CJ. The last alive towards the mid-red doors is not long for the world. JT, the IGL, beheads him with the MAC-10. It's a clean 2-0 start for Complexity. They lose one player in that round prior, but for the most part, it is smooth sailing.
Yeah, it's relatively smooth. 1-2 is acceptable casualties. And this one shouldn't have any casualties for Complexity. It's just USPs for Nouns, just the good old auspice. Taps away, nobody downrange to connect on. Another heavy B lean from Complexity, interestingly pressuring in towards this site again. Nade doesn't do any damage, although the minimap looks like it could have done some bit of damage. And a lot of utility going in. Nouns are starting to gamble this rotation over, although Grim gets the entry. Elige pushing in through house is making it his home. And Grim continues his tear as well. Elige backs away, not trying to give anything over for free. Goes back for some more re-aggression afterwards, catching the timing. And he'll just split Carson and CJ apart like the Red Sea. And it's all up to Carson now, who's over towards A. And there's no real reason to hunt him, except for JT, who has the MAC-10. Nobody else should hunt this kill. Not Elige, certainly not Grim, Halzerk, or Floppy.
No. Now, you could draw the MAC-10s around if you really want to. Halzerk could take that, or Floppy. Let the full HP players go and hunt. Carson, hoping to be given some sort of duel. There's no reason to save the USP after all, but no one will exit in his direction. So It should be all 5 surviving for complexity. Carson goes down with the ship, caught by the bomb radius. And now a 3-0 start for complexity. A nice bonus with 3 rifles, good utility, and 2 MAC-10s. Nouns. I was wondering if there's going to have to be a compromise on the op. It looks like it's a mild one. It's going to be full M4s, one of them being an A4 in Marky's hands. An op for Cynic, and the only thing they're really lacking is some extra utility on that very op.
Yeah, they do have that one kit, but maybe an extra would have been nice to have, but it's a little nitpicky. Molotov into the cubby, counter utility being tossed in. B-Wills flashed away from his aggression, makes a noise. They've certainly heard him move around. There's a nice op shot from Cynic. Floppy blinded. Grim will trade him out though, but it's not the op who's gone down. Grim low, doesn't clear his corner. Marky with a freebie. Lee's jumping around the corner. MAC-10 sing. His teammates are falling down around him, all up to Halzerk. Now he does not have his op. He has the AK. No bomb. No real inroad into the site. And no real chance for a victory. Pretty flat round from complexity here. Cynic missing the shot. He sees the feet. Halzerk punishes him for it. And now this is an opportunity for Halzerk. He spots the second player. He has a lot of time. He sprays and he connects it, taking minimal damage. But does he expect CJ on this flank all the way back to B ramp? That is the question. What does Halzerk do here? What kind of a play does he make? Does he watch his 6? Does he go towards A? He's watching for it, and he nails CJ. Halzerk with a 1v3. That is how you clutch it up. And the Opper makes it work with the AK.
That's a surprising one to find, a 1 versus 3. I was going to say, Nouns was going to praise them, in fact, for their very proactive and early rotation over towards B. It seemed like they had 3 or 4 players ready by the time the take actually came through, yet it all falls through nonetheless. Massive 1 versus 3 for Halzerk, and a boon for complexity now to continue their tear in this first half of Ancient. Nouns are going to be on pistols. They can still do damage. It looks like they're all running 5.7s, barring Cynic. CJ got a dink, but he was just out of that one-shot kill range. JT down to 4, yet still kicking. But every corner holds a potential one-shot if the 5.7s are played correctly.
Down. Halzerk will trade out onto Cynic. They still know Carson was close in first. No Molly picked up. That's a nice piece to grab, and he will delay this take further. A little more damage. JT needs to be very careful. He's still on 4 HP. And a rifle to be upgraded to for Nouns. That'll be a nice piece. Yeah, I mean, they can grab it, and they will.
There we go.
That's worth it for them.
Oh, it's very worth it. It just took them a while. They will eventually rotate into donut, trying to death ball as best they can, but complexity have already slipped the gap. They've already jumped up. They're walking through caves now. Again, very respectful and rather slow from complexity. It makes them easier to read for Nouns. Again, Nouns with a new IGL might be a little bit sluggish to react, so given that extra breathing room, exactly what they need.
Could still be a 5-round start for complexity, though. A little bit of a punish for Halzerk, perhaps, or maybe he will be the one punished. He is indeed the one who falls. And that's 2 casualties here. Another gun potentially salvageable for Nouns. They are going to go for it. Floppy needs to open his account on Ancient. Liege coming through, dink down. Holy moly, all the damage being done by Nouns. They could actually end up with extra guns here. And there's another one on the ground. Oh boy, Nouns are doing the damage. Complexity are getting dinked. This is a win, yes, but definitely not a win you want to repeat again.
No. Really helps that CT economy getting those AKs in hand. And that op, of course.
So what's the adjustment you want to see from Nouns here? Because honestly, I don't feel like they're playing poorly. They're just not able to hold on to the site when the take actually comes through. And last round, I mean, they had pistol. Oh, that's a nice start from Hauser. That's some good aggression from the T side. Now maybe Nouns will have to rethink things. They called, what, 2 timeouts the entire first series?
Yeah, maybe if that. I think it might have been 1. Leaves me wanting more, that's for sure. I will say, Nouns, they aren't necessarily playing bad. I feel like some of their rotations are actually quite good and proactive. Maybe a little bit more hands-on control towards the middle, but as we saw, they just tried that very same strategy, and it led to an early death. So, a little bit more mid-control, maybe some lurks in towards the caves and towards Jaguar to really cut off those rotations towards B or vice versa. There's something a little bit more aggressive than stock standard. Could be exactly what's needed to throw complexity off.
Smoke in. Not going to delay complexity at all. They're going to go on through. B-Will's re-aggressing towards Cave, thinks better of it. Probably for the best there. Flash goes over and can make Marky remove. B-Will's trades. Can he get more out of it? No. Grim will get 2 out of it. Elige will add another one up to Cynic now, who's stuck back Cube with an op. And he's going to get flanked upon by Grim. Is he watching the angle? He is on it. He sees the shadow, misses the shot. I don't know why he's flicking there. Shadow's on the ground. Little jitters from Cynic, and where's the timeout from Nouns? This is prime timeout territory. 6 rounds lost in a row. They have money to buy.
They need one. They really do need to call timeouts. They're just going into these rounds. That one was a little bit worrisome. As you mentioned, some individual performances not lining up as they should. That kill for Cynic should have been through and through 10 times out of 10. Slow things down, talk things out. Adjust as necessary. Cody again thrown towards middle. Now, you can tell they're kind of thinking about at least showing something towards middle by holding some players towards Donut. But they very quickly fall off at the even slightest hint of utility. B-Will's finally getting a little bit more proactive in towards Jaguar as well, spamming down the snake. Hoping to do some damage, but there aren't any players there at the moment. Or there weren't when he was spamming, I should say. It is very quickly given up as well. We saw like a minute 10 left in the round, and the player towards Jaguar has been pushed away. The players towards Donut are playing passive, either in red or in Donut itself. Complexity using their utility well, pacing their utility well, forcing Nouns into a very standard setup.
The Downs don't have much utility left to work with either. 2 HEs, 2 flashbangs, and a Molotov. Smoke just used. TJ has Cynic there with him, and they will double up here on the entry. Halzerk 1, make it 2, and Carson will be a little bit late to the party to trade. JT stabbed in the back, but it leaves Floppy in a winnable 1v2. Flash in, he knows where somebody is now. He has a general idea of where Marky has to be too. Surely he will plant the bomb. And all Nouns have to do is go together here. Floppy trying to eliminate that idea. He gets mowed down by Marky's A1S. 4 body shots. And night Ricky. There's the first round on the board for Nouns. Does not come with a timeout. Problem being, it's a very costly one to win.
Only 2
Their
survive.
money's still not going to be great.
Yeah. They have the op at least. Have a kit, some utility. Have to reinvest most of what they gained. But I will say they made an adjustment that I liked. They got a little bit aggressive trying to cut off those rotations. We had Carson pushing through red doors to catch the players from behind in Donut. We had the push up towards top Snake in from Jaguar by B-Wills. That was what really sealed the round in their favor. That kind of aggressiveness, holding or pushing for it and then holding and maintaining those kinds of positions are what's key to throwing off Complexity's defaults. Early aggression in middle towards Donut. There's lots of damage towards Carson, and he'll actually try to push back into it, but forces an early death. Elige finds yet another. CJ also pushing into an early death over towards the red doors. This is now another awkward spot. Now as they lose this round, they're more than likely reset going into round number 9.
Bomb down, and Marky almost gets caught out in mid. He actually does the catching. A little bit of return fire. Nice headshot onto Elige. But Nouns need to save, and they know it. They're not going to attempt anything out of this round. Great strike back from Complexity, isolating the round's victory at 1 and only 1. I will say, Complexity much stronger on the T side of Ancient statistically, 59.1% versus 37.2. So, if Complexity want to be winning this one, they're going to need to stack some rounds on the board here. Again, this is the pick of Nouns, folks. If you're just joining us. Map number 2 is Anubis, picked by Complexity. Third is Inferno if we do get that far. Complexity looking more and more composed. They look a lot more calm than they did against Forsaken, which there's more pressure in this match than there was in the last one.
Definitely is a lot more pressure. Keep in mind, this is the bottom of a double elimination bracket. There's only one spot in IEM Sydney, and 4 teams are competing for it. Complexity win this map, or win this match, I should say. They're in today too, at the very least. CJ, it's a lot of damage, sure, but he does finally find that opening in favor of Nouns towards middle. Because now they're just pressing into it. A flash, better, I was gonna say better late than never, but it was from a teammate. Floppy blinds Grim, and that's the reason he falls. I thought it was a flash from Carson's teammate. Not the case. Complexity. That's a very worrying sign. They do have the B site, but they've lost that man advantage. In fact, it's even further gone now. B-Wills drops JT. Good flash from CJ. And B-Wills finds Floppy. B-Wills finds them all. Halzerk the last to fall. A nice double shot from the A1S. That is a very quick, succinct, and most importantly, convincing and flawless victory for Nouns as their second round.
Oh yeah, that's a nice bit of work from B-Wills, and it took an individual effort from Nouns to get another victory on the board. But that's something we've seen from Nouns. It takes somebody individually to pop off, to get some momentum going, and then they're able to scale forward into more of a team game. We saw that more on Mirage than we did on Anubis in their previous series. But again, aggression going down middle. Halzerk, though, stuck between fire and gunfire. He's tagged down low, and he is able to back away. Will not get tagged by the nade, and will survive instead. Legion and Floppy combined for the opening pick, though, and more tags going back against Nouns as CJ gets caught as he tries to go punish from house. He'll be forced back into red and into a 5v4 situation where his team is down to 4 and down to 3 now as Floppy gets a nice shot to open his account in this game. Long time coming, but he finally does get it.
I think he's combined fire for more than a few kills as well, at the very least. 5 versus 3 secured. Cynic and CJ have a bit of utility. There's a kit present. All 3 players from Nouns are on B. Once they find a kill, once 2 of them are spotted, Complexity are going to blitz over towards A. They need to make the most of this. Carson finds one mid-execute. The flash, though, blinds him, forces him away. Complexity are going to continue forward. They feel compelled into the site. Floppy drops CJ. Finds the second as well on Carson. The last alive Cynic. He misses the shot yet again. A difficult map for the newly rejoined Opper. JT puts him in the dirt, and it's an 8th on the board for Complexity. You mentioned this is a very T-sided map for them. It's good to see they're getting those rounds on the board early on in this first half.
Yeah, that's a very good sign to see for Complexity. They need to be stacking those rounds up on the T side. They're building up confidence, which is also very important. Basically, they're doing what they need to do to win right now. They're achieving the keys to victory. How long will it last? We'll see. A couple bad rounds can really spiral things down. How is Marky so far down to 36 HP? Is he running through fire? Just getting spammed.
They're challenging middle. Every round. They always lose HP down there. This time, at the very least, they do maintain control of it. That's the most important thing, because they've been going for this aggressive control, and they kind of just fall away without much contact being taken. They lose utility and don't have any map control to show for it. B-Will's a little too aggressive there towards the halls, towards Jaguar is caught. CJ does trade it, but a 4 versus 4 does favor the T's.
They seem to be leaning in towards B, which has been their comfort blanket. More times than not, they've ended over at this site. Good angle from CJ, can get one at the very least if he keeps his gun in hand. Complexity really stalling this time. They're baiting CJ into this. He's pushing in. Floppy's got utility out in hand, and Grim falls too! No trade. CJ has just opened up the round for Nouns. Bomb will be attempted to be planted, and it will go down. But is there a refrag here? Is there an opportunity for Complexity? No! Carson shuts down Halzerk. Elige peeks into Cynic. And we've got back and forth rounds flying back and forth right now. No team able to string anything in the last 4 or 5. Good strike back from Nouns. CJ, though, great individual effort in towards Jaguar. Pushing in, getting the job done.
Just a straight peek with a lucky timing. Very well done. He knew he had to go for information, and he made the absolute most of it. Finding a pair, flanking around as well, sets up Carson in that corner for basically a guaranteed one if someone presses in. Very well done for Nouns to find a third. Finally picking up the pace in the first half of Ancient. And again, aggression towards middle. Probably a lot of damage to be taken on both sides. Elige actually to scale forward entirely. All the way forward. While there are some shots exchanged, all the damage lands on the side of Complexity. The issue is Elige is very close towards. There he is, House. Peeking in, doesn't find the kill though. Awkwardly tiptoes back outside into the opposite corner. This round is getting very awkward very quickly.
There's been a few awkward rounds. This one looking to maybe be the most awkward of them all so far. CJ no longer in cave and Jaguar, but over towards Donut. Flushed out, but he's bringing the heat. Opening on the Grim, doubles it up. Elige trades him, but he's late. And down he falls too as Carson's there to add more fuel to the fire in favor of Nouns. JT needs to win this fight. He cannot even do damage. Floppy in a 1v4. Gets one. There's the trade. Nouns' buddy system right now is punishing every peak by Complexity. Where there's one, there's two. And where there's one kill, there's two, if not three for Nouns. The trades are not trades. They are favoring the Noun side to such a significant manner. Complexity need to take a timeout here and be like, okay, we're getting killed on our defaults. Either we go together and go fast, or we see if we can bait Nouns into a push.
That's the end of their economic rope. Buying 3 pistols and 2 AKs. It is an investment, but it's a very ugly one at that. Also, praise must be given to CJ, specifically because he's found just multi-kills. It doesn't matter if you're trading a multi-kill, because you're trading 2 for 1 regardless. The fact that he's found 2 in that round, he found, what, I think 3 in the round when he pressed towards caves. Massive individual performance from him. That's what's really giving Nouns this breath of fresh air. 3 players already stacked towards B. They know it's coming in. They know Complexity are going to fall back on their comfort play. So 3 are already primed and waiting.
This half can change drastically based on the result of this round. Can either end in an overwhelming lead for Complexity, or we could get as close as an 8-7. It all hinges on how well or poorly this goes for either side. Don't have a lot of utility left on the T side. 3 flashes, 1 smoke. Good stall utility used by Nouns. Mid completely open, but it's an educated guess. They have the right stack. They're ready for this marquee timing. He doesn't see Elige, and Elige sees him. 1 shot's all he needs. Man advantage Complexity. Push on in. JT wins the fight against B. Will. CJ still in cave. Takes care of Elige. JT next in line, but he will dome down CJ. Carson has a lineup that dodges the flash bang. Calls him blind on his teammate's flash. But Grim is there for a late trade. 2v1 against Cynic on the op. No kit by time Complexity. There should be a kit down on the ground somewhere, but objective is survive for the T's. Do not give Cynic the 1v1s.
Ooh, what a shot on the Grim. Somehow he finds that Cynic. The 1 versus 2. The op gets the clutch. There's a kit on hand, and it is a 5th on the board for Nouns. He absolutely steals that away. We've been highlighting some lackluster performances from him on this map thus far, and yet he absolutely nabs a critical round for Nouns to maintain their momentum.
Well, complexity, that is not exactly the best one for the mental.
Very
that
bad
one's
one.
gonna sting.
Very bad one for the mental. And it's worrying
Where's
already.
the timeouts?
Good question. They had one.
They got 4. Use them.
Yeah, 2 per half would be probably the right read. And we've seen now, what, 2 team flashes that have been very consequential for complexity?
Yep. Now, the teammate in the lead wasn't blind. It was just Halzer who got blinded by that flashbang.
But he's playing second man in. His first man in had 18 HP. He had to be not blind.
Which means he's either looking the wrong direction because the flash was well placed.
Yeah. Very worrying signs on a fundamental level for complexity. As they now once again race into their comfort site. 3 players here make that just 2. With Marky towards Caves finding 1. JT's gonna try to find a trade back, but they're doubled up. Again, the buddy system proving to be advantageous in every way. Carson drops JT. Just Halzerk. He is the shining star for this team, but he only has a little hand. And what can he really do with a Galil? That's the question. He'll find 1. Very nearly a second, but CJ double dinks him away. And Nouns, they're 1 round away from doing exactly what you said, from making this the most contentious scoreline possible.
The mental maybe boomed for complexity. They could call a timeout here. They are going to buy up. But will they call a timeout?
No.
Probably not. Doesn't seem to be the play right now. Oh, Nate. I'm getting nervous already. I'm getting very nervous for complexity right here.
Getting into a very weird point. I feel like this festive can only get weirder as time goes on. Aggression in the middle yet again. This time Carson can't slink away in towards the donut area. Grim will find an opening for complexity. It's been a while since they found one cleanly like that. We'll have to see if they can make the most of it.
Can they actually scale forward off of it? That's the other question, because they've had openings, they've had opportunities, and they've just been shut down by the buddy system. So, complexity are losing a lot of these individual fights. It's not working out well, and Nouns doing a great job of taking space like that. There's a trade, 4v3, and rotations heavily leaning over towards A now. Every single person from Nouns is here to defend. The bomb's out towards mid. JT boosting with his teammate. Feebles gets caught. Let's get 1. Now it's open A. Slips into donut in the nick of time. Hauser can get that planted. CJ 1v3 does have a kit. Has a flash and a smoke as well. Halzerk, Molotov a little bit too late. CJ's gone past it.
Finds the first. Very good shot, but the other 2 are now in a crossfire. It seems near impossible for CJ. He'll try his darndest. He can't. Nice off angle from Floppy. They stem the bleeding. We'll see if they can recover after the break.
Well, certainly a concerning showing from Complexity. A 9-6 lead is solid, yes, but it could have been and probably should have been so much more for the boys in blue. Well, both teams are in blue, but Holzerk starts off this pissed around quite nicely. Carson and CJ trade it back, though. It's Boggs and Pineapple Phillips on the mic, and Nouns trying to make us all feel Nouns-ish. I think I'm starting to feel a little more Nouns-ish watching this first half, and into the second half pistol round, I'm getting a little more so. Nate, I don't know about you, but Nouns are making me believe.
They are. Normally, at that kind of scoreline, I say it was a very nice half, all things considered, but it felt ugly. It felt scrappy. It felt like some teams are just impulsively going, like just running through the motions. It doesn't feel inspired, at least on the part of Complexity. Nouns looking to steal away both pistol rounds in this series, and to do so would really cement this as an even ball game going into the rifle rounds. Now, we talked about Complexity being a very T-sided team on this map. Nouns is also a rather CT-sided team, so now they're on their own more difficult side of the map. We'll have to see who's better on their own weaker sides. 3 versus 3 secured. Bomb over half gone at this stage, though. They have to get on the site and quickly. JT does have a kit, sure, but he has a long way to go. He's stuck in towards the caves, in towards Jaguar, and he's going to have to call it quits. CJ keeps him at bay. Sure, his teammates took the site, but Marky and CJ buy enough time to win the round. Nouns take pistol, and they're 7.
Big pistol round to win for Nouns. They do it well. They do it pretty clean. And now they set themselves up to get within 1 round of Complexity here. Not going to be much of an investment from the CT side. Maybe a P250. Maybe. They're going to be saving for round number 18. Galils and Mac 10 for Nouns. They'll run it into the pistols. Maybe going to try and feel out a stack first, though, which is a wise policy. We'll see what they decide to do. I don't know about mid so much, as it's a very close range angle to take. Donut, though. That'll work if you molly it out. A little bit of utility going in towards A. Still a 2-1-2 from Nouns, though, with a slight lean towards A. Numbers definitely would be a good idea for this T-side take.
Definitely would. Show presence over towards A, begin to rotate towards B. Halzerk does spot this from the house. But can the rotations come through quickly enough? In fact, the rotations aren't coming through in a conventional way. They cannot. CJ drops the lone B-side defender. The remaining 3 Complexity players all going through T-spawn. This might be a good enough gimmick to find 1 or 2, but beyond that, I don't think we'll be able to find much else. Marky, I thought it'd be good for more than 1 at that angle with the Galil. He'll find 1. The issue is that choke point is so incredibly long. There's no way that Grim can push all the way forward to get that Galil. So instead, CJ will hold him at bay. Do they get that Galil back? They do not. But 1 casualty is a pretty good outcome, all things considered, for Nouns.
That's a very good outcome for Nouns. Yeah, you would have ideally wanted to win that clean, but 4 alive is still very solid. Still have the Mac 10 here, but there's 4 players on Complexity without helmets. There is no defuse kit on Complexity at all. Utility is not great. It's all right. Slightly above average, although they do lack a lot of flashbangs, which would hurt a retake. Still, though, Nouns can gain a lead here if they execute this round properly. Win this round and take out the guns. It's essentially a free lead.
And Mac 10 is also a very scary prospect. 4/5 of Complexity have no helmets. Aim punch alone would be enough to do them in. JT, though, he is the one to find the opening in his team's favor. Complexity to start things off right towards middle. Carson being dispatched. It's one of the rifles. I believe it was. Yeah, it was the AK. So that weapon. He's going to get spotted again on that cross. That's the second time it's been used. It's a rather niche angle, but it really does make sense when you have the correct read. Good trade from CJ, but he does take a lot of damage, and the advantage still remains in favor of Complexity. I say that 2 more kills between CJ and B-Wills makes things very different. They line up. Elige finds 2, tags down B-Wills, but it is a 1 versus 1. It's doable for either side, but the bomb has to be recovered. That is the critical point. Floppy just spotted the bomb, if I'm not mistaken. That puts the ball in B-Will's court. He has to make the play. Pressuring forward on the stairs. B-Wills, he will do it. 2 for him, 1 on Elige, 1 on Floppy, and that is a massive clutch. A tight-knit round, but a round that Nouns win and can afford now to reinvest into the following.
And they take all the guns out of the hands of Complexity too, so it should be a free 10th. USPs for Complexity. Maybe a couple upgrades here, but certainly not a round they should have any prayer of winning. This is getting worse and worse for Complexity. To quote Landell Calrissian, this deal's getting worse all the time. And I don't know if they can afford to give up Cloud City here.
Agree. These upgraded pistols should do at least some damage, hopefully. Keep that T-set economy honest. And it's the only way Complexity can really play this game at this stage. Keep the T-set economy honest, force them into a save, and then build up your CT economy, never look back. But things aren't starting off as they'd hope. JT, a good opportunity at this headshot angle, but utility really does hamper things. Nouns. Not necessarily playing scared, but they are playing quite slow. Clearing things out. Good push from Floppy. Peeking with all of it. That's a good one. What's been upgrade secured. And now things can get a little bit interesting on the B side.
Oh, Cynic takes care of JT after he finishes off CJ. Floppy still has that M4 and the armor. That makes him a little more dangerous than everybody else on on Complexity. Nouns, though, they have no more utility. Everything is going to have to be a hold or a fight. And no kit for Complexity either. There's a nice trade from Floppy, but it takes too much damage there. In the meantime, Grim falls. Halsey walks out, sprayed, and Markey gets both. There is that lead for Nouns. 10-9. Buy up here for Complexity. Where is the timeout from Complexity? Where is the use of the pause? You have that option.
We've got 3 left.
You're on a knife's edge.
This is a major turning point. They could win this. Get one step closer to breaking Nouns, especially if they prevent the bomb plant. Or if they lose this, they're down 11-9, soon to be 12-9, realistically speaking. And from there, it feels like it's almost a guaranteed free fall for Complexity. Nouns looked confident. They looked poised, well spaced, well read. Complexity again. Look like they're just running through the motions, uninspired. I like this change up from Elige, aggressive down middle, playing the off angle with Grim to support. We need some act off this. Halsart, good start, catches B-Wills. The site has fallen in the meanwhile, and CJ through the smoke just finds 1. Tags on a second to Cynic. JT over top. Maintains a 10 US advantage for Complexity. Bomb plant will go down. Well done by Markey. This is still anybody's round going into the retake.
It's getting more and more Nouns-ish as time goes on, though. Halfway gone, ticker. Grim pops out first, spots out Markey. Entry needs 2 more. CJ dinked, but it's only through a wall. Elige finishes him off. They know where Carson is. He sprayed a little early. Molotov forces him away. He's able to go in front of it. They have to stick. They have to hold. Do they have the time? Yes, they do. Just barely. JT hops on it. Elige saves his life. And Complexity scrape by with a 10th round. This one is very, very close. And Complexity have just shaved off a tiny bit of that pressure. They have to keep it on Nouns now. It's both teams in a reset territory. Complexity need to keep more than 2 alive. They need a little more time than that, a little more confidence on their victories. It was shaky. Ooh, that's nice, though.
Good start. Alzerk was the one that came out the gate swinging, the one that gave them any sort of momentum early on for Complexity. It's a 2-man advantage between Halzerk and JT. Good kills between them. B-Wills, Carson, Cynic. 3 versus 5. They're going to slowly get mid-control. Issue is Halzerk has this avenue covered if they choose to press. B-Wills has to be hero pressing up the ramp. It's Floppy spotting for it. Complexity doing well with their advantage. The issue is securing said advantage. Cynic and Carson alone. Good taps from Carson. That's 1. They still have a long way to go to get back into this round.
Halzerk spots the crossing, doesn't shoot. He just drops the Molotov. Gets pushed in, but he's expecting it. Swaps to the sidearm. His flames will do a lot of damage, but he will not get the last kill. Bomb plant for Cynic will help the economy of the T side, but 3 alive for Complexity is very good. Lead back to Complexity, just barely. Good work from Floppy, from Halzerk, from Grim, from JT. Op back into the hands of Halzerk as well. Half buy from Nouns. They're not going to go all in, although they probably would like to. This team loves those aggressive buys. We've seen that throughout the course of tonight, and however many Nouns games we've gotten to cast over the year and a half. It's been about a year and a half they've been around at this point.
Maybe even longer.
Maybe even longer.
Nouns have been a team that always makes things competitive. This one definitely is Carson, a timing in middle, pushing in towards Donut. He'll drop a leash. Now things get interesting. Entirety of the T side swarm this A site. Bomb plant will go down. Now things get awkward. Grim quickly scaling in towards the back halls. Finds 1. Teammate to support a second and a third for Floppy as well through that smoke. Nouns was a very, very brief hope, but it's very quickly snuffed out by the rifles. B-Will's trying to make a hero play, does not find anything, and Cynic with an eagle might be able to find some damage, but there should be no chance in heck that he finds the round. Defuse already coming through. Cynic is falling away and spamming as he does. You can't stop that defuse. 3 players alive yet again. Cynic, though, he gets to bring that armor at the very least into this next round.
I'm curious as to whether or not Cynic took any body damage, because if he didn't, that's a $350. Yep, he did not. So $350 helmet upgrade. That's always nice. And 2 kills plus a bomb plant for Nouns is very solid. Only 3 surviving for Complexity out of that round. Not ideal. They are able to build up a little bit, at least on Halzerk and Floppy. 4 more rounds until Complexity can claim victory on map number 1, but Nouns are still in this one for sure. They're still knocking on the door. Getting very close. Oh, there's a good start there for Halzerk. Cynic trying to repeat that, but Halzerk falls away wisely, playing with a man advantage. Elige, a dangerous game out towards middle. Smoke will reveal his position. Molotov goes through to follow it up. Nade should do a decent amount.
Nothing.
No, it's Grim to actually open it up.
He drops the Carson. Goes from Donut. A good flash in for Grim. Finally, they're landing without any incidental team flashing. Elige over the top of the smoke finds CJ as well. And a remarkable return to form from Complexity, really cementing this as potentially their map. Leaving just Cynic alone, 1 versus 5. The op finds nothing. Floppy pressuring in through Jaguar, finds the kill. Complexity have done very, very well to finally balance things out. A flawless round helps their economy. No bomb plant prevents Nouns from really fully investing into round number 24. And with this next implied victory, they're only a hop and a skip away from a victory on Ancient.
Don't count out the Tech 9s, Nate. We did that last map, or last series, I should say. And it went the way of the team on the pistols, so we can't count them out just yet. Halzerk's definitely been heating up, though. Been a big part of Complexity's resurgence. AT, nice headshot, looks for more. Down he goes. This is where the pistols can start to take some advantage. Utility coming in. Floppy mollied out of position. He gets caught and domed down and finished off nicely by Marquis P250. Good utility work from Nouns now is isolated the Complexity players to the outside of Cube. All 3 players are here looking for a retake. Grim takes a lot of damage on that fight. That's not good at all. Marky peeking in. B-Will swings. Goes one. Halzerk to follow it up, though. Cynic has the op angle. Rather, no, B-Will's had the angle, but CJ the last one standing. They don't know where he is, though. Out through the smoke! He goes down to Alicia's headshot. But how close is that, Nate? How close is this round again going against the Nouns?
Too close, I think, is the short answer. Far too close. 5 more seconds, even maybe like 6 or 7. That round would have been done. It's crazy how close they get with just the Tech 9s. Feels like time and again as well. If he loses support, Floppy on the side is just left to the dogs. The Flash is bombing over. There's nothing he can do in that corner. Rifles out for Nouns. Full AKs, no ops to be trifled with. And aggression again from Complexity on the defense. Lee's pressuring down middle. He'll fall away. No support. It's a smart call for certain. Floppy, though, is right at home in towards Jaguar.
Halzerk itching to pull that trigger. JT just spraying away, trying to bait in that peak. He'll back away. All level at 5-all. Time ticking down. Lige spots one, takes a shot, doesn't connect. Backs away, still holding into Donut. But not going to overstick. Floppy, good flashbang from JT. Free kill to open up the round. Complexity do not need to over-aggress, though. Hold their advantages to secure the game.
Biggest advantage for Complexity on their defense has been that corner in-house. They've used that so well. It's been 3 or 4 rounds. It has outright netted them or should have netted them rounds. They lost it once after they found picks from there. I think it was the 1v2 clutch for B-Will, but other than that, it has single-handedly won them rounds that it shouldn't have. It will abandon it now, but it served its purpose in this round. Makes Nouns all the more trepidatious about rotating. It will finally elect to do so. In towards Donut. Elite is waiting here in the crowd. He'll find the first, not quite the second, but he does buy time. 15 seconds remaining. At the barrel in, and Grim up close. Does damage, but doesn't get the kill. It's even footing. Floppy's going to race in with reckless abandon. Good flash. Does he get the kill? Yes, a very solid start for the spearhead, but Marky finds one combining with CJ. Also collecting the clutch with the op. He'll find one, but not the second. CJ in towards Donut. Finds the kill, finds the victory for Nouns in what looked like a very dire, straightforward run in towards Donut and towards A, yields a lifeline for the attacking side.
A very staunch lifeline, too, because this can really pull Nouns back into this game, even push them towards overtime or even potentially a lead going into the last couple of rounds here. So, Complexity have put themselves in a bit of a bind. Their economics are not fantastic. And now, they are sitting in a very dangerous situation where momentum can slide away, money can go down the drain, and they could find themselves on the outside looking in here on Ancient. And look how much utility they have left. Minute 28 on the clock. 2 smokes, 2 flashbangs. That's it. That's nothing.
Set up in the middle, though. That's, I think, the important caveat. Complexity has set the trap. They're waiting for Nouns to spring it. Player spotting, that's Grim. Elige holding top snake. Floppy ready to close the trap towards Jaguar if necessary. It has been done before, though, by both teams. Nouns read it right. Could be very different. Elige, though, very well done in the anti-flash. CJ, though, towards the short-lived victory. Halzerk now has to hold a lot of things down over towards B. He'll find one. The Molotov will delay. He has to find even more. This is the shot. Falls back. B-Will is trying to take point, but all the players have rotated in for Complexity. Halzerk on the out, finally unseated. Good shot from Cynic, but it's still only even footing. Marky catches Grim. Good flash from B-Wills. Use Elige and JT to pick up the pieces. Famas and Op. Elige double zooms in, doesn't matter. Finds the first, not the second, though. Cynic again wins the Op duel 2-0 on this round, leaving just the IGL JT, the South African, versus the pair. Cynic and B-Wills both close, and Famas is running out of rounds, sending them down range, but with no overall effect. Cynic on the Op. wakes up once again at a critical juncture. 3 kills in that round and a 12th on the board for Nouns to reset that CT side economy.
Well, Complexity had a moment where it looked like they were just going to finish things up, have a little bit of a bump in the road, but overall get back to some smooth sailing. But it seems that the seas are not favoring the Complexity side yet again. They're getting choppy. Alzerk. He's down below. Grim's up top. This 1-2 punch. Maybe gets a gun. Maybe gets something. But Mac tend to lead the charge, which is a perfect combination to counter this. And now the flashbangs go through. Easy one for Marky. Team kill by B-Wills, but that's 3 kills for the price of 1 for Nouns. They will take that all day, every day. That will be 13 for the Nouns side, barring anything incredibly hilarious.
Something preposterous, I dare say. At least 1/3 HP. He actually finds one. Okay. There's a
you
bit
saw
of a
that
hiccup
too,
there.
right?
I really thought I thought it was a magical moment. It was not. Cynic. Desmond, 13-14 in grabbing distance now. Nouns look to tackle Complexity at the final hurdle. And if they win this round, which should be a rather compromised buy for Complexity, they should be able to find 15 by extension. Complexity finally using a timeout. It says used 1 of 4. Is this their first timeout? Did we see one from Nouns earlier? I'm not sure. Either way.
No, I don't think we saw one from Nouns.
I think we saw one from Complexity earlier, right?
I thought we did, but apparently not.
Who knows? It could be a hiccup. Regardless, I think this is the second timeout, and I wouldn't say not a moment too late or too soon, but it's definitely a heck of a lot late. Should have been the moment they lost that momentum. I would even dare say call a timeout, or even the last rifle round when they were about to run out of cash and there was a lot riding on it. Good time to call a timeout.
This is essentially the map in the balance for Complexity. So, no more opportune time than that. Now, can they actually build upon it? No kit and a dive into Donut for Elige. Sees him lose half his health. Crawl in towards red, though. Grim back away. Flashbang plays. Carson's spray is not as good. Both players elect to go to the sidearm. Grim does win that, and he is able to back away. Reinforcements come through, but flopping fight. CJ dinked, and then finished off by Grim. 2 for 1. Good for Complexity. JT back towards the B side proper, where Nouns are making their way on towards the site. Molotov deep towards both sides of Cube, and there's JT for 1. Traded by B-Wills. 3v2. Grim is low. Half HP. B-Wills with another. He takes a dink, but this is a problem for Complexity. Halzerk's flank has to work. It has to be what pays the bills here. Spots the 1. Low HP B-Wills. Standing. 1 shot does it. Grim with a headshot. Complexity map point on the pick of Nouns. Nouns can still buy. And Complexity will have to fudge some numbers to get something good.
See what happens when you call a timeout? Kind of crazy.
It really is, isn't it? Hey!
Oh, wow. Talking about learning from the masters. It's kind of eerie how timely that one was. We said we wanted to see more timeouts from Nouns. We finally see our first in this game. To be fair, they have played a rather decent game of it thus far.
They
haven't seen the same worrying fundamentals that we've seen from Complexity.
It really does feel like Complexity has played the worst game here.
I have to agree. Wholeheartedly. It feels like a lot more fundamental things are broken. It feels a lot less inspired on their T side. It felt like Nouns were definitely a lot hungrier for this one.
That's a good way to put it. Nouns have the hunger, they have the fire. Complexity. Just need one more round and they can go to Anubis. Which is a big question mark. But it's not a set in stone game for Nouns or for Complexity at all. And the worst thing for Complexity is to let Nouns go. Don't let the underdog get hope. Don't let the underdog believe. He needs to get something, and he gets 1.
Solid start for him. Even more would be more than welcome. Keep in mind, he is that star for this team in this map. 26 kills to his name. Smoke goes down not a second too soon. He will cross the heck out of Dodge. Very lucky. There's a lot of proactive rotations coming in from Complexity. Floppy's left to try and hold down middle with an MP9 that's going to really be a tall task. Carson will make himself right at home in the house. Luigi regresses with a teammate. Nice drive-by from Floppy. Drops Carson, furthers the advantage. These are the openings that Complexity needed. Good mid-round calls to retake and reaggress. Good flash for Grim to peek. And this is the Complexity we were hoping to see. Grim yet another shining individually. Just Marky over towards A main in a 1 versus 5.
1v5 to stay alive in map number 1. This one a bit rough. He does get 1. But can he get more? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard.
20 seconds to get the bomb. To get forward. Okay. No, with 3 players, not a chance. 16-13 is the score. I'll be honest, a lot uglier, a lot scrappier, and a lot less, what's the word I'm looking for, inspired in this one than I would have expected. Complexity. But even if it is ugly, they do get it across the line.